Show.
And welcome in everybody to Happy's Sports Bar and Grill downtown Murfreesboro. And glad to have you with us today for our third installment of the Spring Sports Show here on the Facebook page for athletics, also the YouTube channel, and much more. It is, we're getting right near the end of the school year, and a lot of things start coming together, postseason events. We've got a big event tonight we'll be talking about a little bit with our guest today, and also, some have already, all these conference tournament events have started happening, and we're fortunate to have a Jimmy Borndame and the men's tennis program have got one for the thumb with their fifth straight conference championship this past weekend, beating New Mexico State and then Liberty. So, of course, there's a lot of coverage on GoBlueRaiders.com about that, and I want to wish them all the best of luck. Do want to remind you that coming up on Monday on NCAA.com at 5 p.m., the draw for the NCAA tournament will be live. And again, that will be a streaming event at NCAA.com, and you can also find out more about it through the tennis social media channels and all of that. Today we're talking Diamond Sports, and the first part of our program is going to be with Blue Raider Baseball, and happy to have Coach Jerry Myers with us today. Also, to my left is Briggs Rudder, and to the far right, your far left, is Jared Vitito. And Coach, you brought catchers for a reason. Why is that?
Oh, well, these two guys are...
did they volunteer?
They did, I think. Kind of. Two veteran guys, two guys that've been in the program, two guys that are well-spoken, high character, and they didn't have class right now, so they were available.
That was a key part of it, that they were available. Briggs, today is officially study day, so kind of give us a rundown on all the study you've been doing this morning.
I've actually, the past 3 days, had 3 presentations.
Did you really?
I've been dressed up in a suit, all suited up for that, giving presentations in class, and I got a lot of exams coming up, a lot of papers to write, so.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough 1 week left of school here.
Well, and are you graduating this time?
I'm not. I got 1 more semester of school.
1 more semester of school left. All right, Jared, talk about what your end of year academic situation is, and it sounds like that Briggs is asking for a little sympathy over here because he's had all the presentations and got papers to write.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get it from me. I already spent an hour this morning with one of my accounting professors. I got a lot of work. I got 2 exams on Monday. I'm going to spend most of my time that's not field and be studying this weekend.
Yep. You all both will be with us tonight. Raiders Choice Awards are coming up tonight, and you're both veteran guys who've been there before, and it's kind of good to see everybody come out, get dressed up, and have a good time and kind of zone out. Take a little break from this time of year when the academic part is so important as it is all the time. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Oh, it's a fantastic event. You've been doing it for 4 years now. 3 years, so we're in a COVID year, but good chance to get out of the uniforms, get dressed up, get cleaned up, show we can play that side of life too, and it's fun.
You get to put on a suit again.
I know, I've been in a suit past 3 days. I'm trying to do a different one every day, but I got a board coming out tonight, so it's fun to hang out and celebrate the athletes and open up that side of the show.
Jared, it's kind of fun, like you said. It's really the one time a year that all the teams get together and get to enjoy. I know they've had some events this week, like dodgeball and some other things that the SAC has been putting on. But is it fun to get to go and see everybody and again, kind of in a different light in this kind of social situation?
No, absolutely. Especially being on the baseball team, we got a crazy travel schedule. We play 4 games a week, sometimes 5. So we don't always get to attend those events. But it's a great opportunity to give it all to the athletes and spend time with each other a little bit.
It's a good deal. Jerry, you'll have guys that will be up for awards tonight, and a lot of because it's not a celebration of just what goes on the field or the court. It is about what goes on in the classroom. It's about what goes on as far as community service, and we're really fortunate in here that we have teams that have success. We have student athletes who are very serious about what they do in the classroom, and they're very eager to get out in the community. And how important is it for you when you put a roster together to have a group of guys that all of those things are important for you?
No, it's really important all the way around. You know, you want to have a well-rounded roster in terms of talent. Obviously, on the field, guys that can play, but we're around each other a lot. We play a lot of games, and there's a lot of quick turnaround. There's a lot of bus rides, so you're around each other quite a bit. So you want guys of high character, guys that are not high maintenance, guys that understand what the program's all about. And that is all those things. The academic side, obviously, is the priority, and that's you know, always the top reason they're here is to get their degree and to try to do everything they can to you know, put themselves in position to you know, be better and prepared as they finish up.
Yep. So all of you watching, again, that will be tonight at 7 o'clock, and you'll be able to catch it live on the Athletics Facebook page, also the Athletic YouTube channel. If you have a Roku TV, True Blue TV, it'll be live there, and also on GoBlueRaiders.com/watch, and you'll be able to catch all of that. The show tonight it'll start right on time at 7 o'clock, and will be an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of hopefully entertainment. And we'll have a good time tonight and honor a lot of student athletes and others who get that. So hope you'll be with us tonight and join us. Jerry, as we talk about, you know, every year and every team is a little different. You were interim coach a year ago. This is your first year as the full-time head coach, and really you've gone through one recruiting cycle with where we are right now, and kind of talk about this year's group, where you brought it together, and obviously there are successes and there are frustrations along any season.
Right. It's been a tough year, you know, on the field in terms of, you know, wins and losses right now up to this point. But we've expressed along the way that, you know, we've got to overcome some things that had happened, whether we lost a couple pitchers early in the year that were going to be key guys for us, whatever it is. And then the transition from last year, interim, and the unknowns with you know, these guys being a big stabilizing group or part of the core that was going to return if we did stay on as a staff, and they've led along the way, and it was invaluable to get the pieces in place, and really the stability, like I said, in terms of what we're going to try to do here moving forward. But we've still got a lot to play for right now, and we know what we're capable of doing, and we're not looking back to have any kind of, you know, I guess, you know, just with the results, the record, the things that moving forward. We know in February, and we talked about it yesterday, we know where we were and we know what we're capable of doing. And we've played a very competitive series. We've had some games get away from us, but moving forward, we feel like, you know, if we can be dangerous down the stretch, we've got a chance to still play for what we want to play for. So that being said, like I said, these quality guys right here work at it extremely hard, and they do all the things that we talked about academically, off the field, volunteering to do anything extra that we have to do. They're always around, and that's a big part of what we're trying to build.
Briggs, I always like talking to catchers because you all look at the game from a different perspective of all other players. You're the only ones who see the action, and you see all the other players. So this group, you know, and here you are, you're an upperclassman, and as a team, you guys have fought through some struggles at times. What do you feel like that has called upon you as one of the leaders and on this ball club this year, and to keep everybody's eye on what's going on, because you don't want to get distracted?
Body language.
Yeah.
That's the easy answer. You know, me and Coach Myers talked about it before the year. I needed to be, you know, a field general quarterback of the baseball team behind the dish and be able to, you know, give the pitchers confidence by just letting them know. He always makes fun of me in bullpens because I usually do the glove back, and he'll do it back to me making fun of me. But it's important. I do a lot of, you know, right here, let's get him, here we go. I don't necessarily yell a whole lot, but I focus heavily on my body language and trying to get the pitcher with me, making sure if someone makes a good play, I'm giving them applause, like, let's get back to it, let's keep going. So body language has been my focus, and I've tried to do a good job of that this year.
Yeah, and Jared, you from the role that you played as well, kind of talk about what you feel your role is in an off the field kind of way.
Me and Briggs talk about it a lot. Just being catchers, being consistent, being leaders for guys on the team, and no matter what the lineup is that day, doing what we can to help each other. As position players that are both catchers. But whether we're in the dugout or on the field, still being leaders and everything we can do.
Yep. Jerry, when you Coach Pete used to, when they would get ready to go on the road, he would, if the bus was going to leave at 10 o'clock or whatever, he'd turn around to Jim and say, "Hey, we got a catcher on here." And if he had a catcher, they were good to go. It didn't matter who else got left, but as long as he had a catcher, so that he placed a lot of importance on that. Pitching is a huge key in this, and you talked about how you had some injuries this year, and you have used a lot of guys. I think 15 different guys have had starts throughout the year, and also you've used a lot of arms in the bullpen, and kind of talk about your philosophy as the year has gone along, because in every game you've had, could be 4, could be 7 guys who and use them in short bursts to try to get the best results. Kind of talk about how you and Coach have been working as far as what your plan has been.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the pitching goes, when we had to try to revamp what we were intending to do going into the season, losing 2 starters, we had to move some guys into the rotation that were going to be bullpen guys or matchup guys out of the bullpen, and doing that, it kind of changed everybody's role in terms of what they were going to be asked to do, and at the same time, we still wanted to have matchups. So we have a little bit more left-handed pitching than what we had last year, which was almost 0 for the most part of the year. And so when you play matchups, you look at numbers and you have an opportunity to do that. We talk about what splits are and what righties and lefties hit off of certain guys and that kind of thing. And so part of that plays into it. At the same time, too, we're asking guys to get extended sometimes, that it doesn't necessarily play into them being as productive, because we're trying to stretch them and make up for some of the innings that we haven't had, that a couple of our guys that we had intended to be in the rotation were going to give us. So that being said, we've kind of done a really good job of separating the game, and early on that led to 3 or 4 weeks of kind of things getting out of hand for us in certain innings, but not letting it affect us from an offensive standpoint. And as we've done that, we've been more competitive. We just have to kind of finish the deal a little bit better and try to do everything we can to finish strong, not just game by game, but here at the end of the year.
Yeah, last weekend down at Sam Houston, that was one of those weekends where you've got to have, you talked about body language, because frustrating, you have 2, you give up 3, you give up 4, and lose a couple of 1-run games, and those are tough. Those are the ones you have to, because that's when you pick yourself apart a lot of times. Okay, if I'd have done this or done that, how do you handle that?
You remember that it's baseball. That's the moment that you remember it's baseball, and the same thing in life. It's a very similar game. You just have to move on to the next one. There's nothing you can change about what you did. You can't sit back and be like, oh, if I would have gotten a hit here. There's a lot of things that go into the game. The moment you start telling yourself that you didn't do your job in this situation, that's why we lost, is you got to play tomorrow. As Jared said, we play 4 to 5 a week. You cannot sit there and think about those 2 games. You got to move on to the next one. In this case, it was Austin Peay. So we were just trying to move on to that. It's definitely frustrating, but you got to keep your body language up and know that it's on to the next one, and it always is through a 56-game season.
Yep. And Jared, when you see him do those things, and I think whether he was selected or whether it came upon his shoulders, Briggs has been the leader of this baseball team. You, in that same position as a freshman, do you and don't blow his head up a little bit here, but what are the qualities that Briggs has that you want as a young player and growing into a role that he's had, that you'll have here in the future?
Oh man, Briggs got a lot of experience when he was young. his first year here. He's played a lot of games here. He's got a lot of composure, a lot of poise. He carries himself well. One thing he's definitely taught me is definitely how to be a leader consistently with the workload that he has. But he's also done a good job holding me accountable and teaching me what it looks like to help him, stay accountable for what he's doing, his body language and everything like that. I feel like we feed really well off each other. Like I said, no matter what the lineup is, just doing whatever we can to help the team and help each other.
Yep. Jerry, I've always said that every day you go to the ballpark, you're going to see something you've never seen before. Chances are, could be something big, could be something small. This team this year has had two things happen that you rarely see. You had a no-hitter from Alderman, and this guy hit for the cycle. When you think about it, how many of those have you had from a coaching standpoint?
That's only the second no-hitter
Ever?
Since I've been coaching. A
Wow.
lot of one-hitters, a lot of 8 2/3, and not a lot, but a few of those along the way. But that being said, I've seen a few cycles, but I don't know if I've seen one that was including a catcher hitting a triple along the way. So it was two very good individual outings, obviously, and a young pitcher doing just a fantastic job on a given day against a really good team as well in Liberty. But that being said, you see, I've probably seen a lot of other things this year happen that I hadn't seen at least in a while. But it is what's unique about our game. There's a lot of different things that can happen, and you can show up any day and see something a little bit different.
Yeah, Briggs, you had the cycle that night. I'm trying to remember what order it came in. Did you get the triple over with early? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, second AB.
Okay, you're second at bat, and that's the hard one, is to get the triple out of the way. Did you feel like, and what was your first at bat? Was it
Single.
so you had a single and a triple. Did you even think about it, or did you compartmentalize and just take each at bat as it came?
I'd love to sit here and tell you that I just
Planned it all out?
played
Yeah.
the game, but I mean, going up to the last at bat's definitely in my head. Well, what I have to do is not try and do too much with it, and luckily I didn't in that last AB and got the homer. But I mean, it's in the back of my head to be like, this would be pretty cool to do, but I'm not going up there trying to do anything different. And then it happened, and that's how it worked out. So I was happy. It's cool.
Once it was over with, did you have time to kind of sit back a little bit and think about it? And have you ever had anything close to that in your playing career, high school, summer league, anything?
I never have time to sit back about anything as a catcher, so I had to go out and play defense, and that was the focus. But I actually hit for the cycle in summer baseball in college in New York, in the same exact order. So that was interesting.
Really?
The second one career-wise, but that's in college summer ball. Not in,
Can you do it again a couple times this weekend?
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to give it a shot. But yeah, that's fun.
Or just a multi-home run game against Western. We're good with that too.
That'd be
So
fantastic.
that's coming up this weekend. Western Kentucky is here. They come in leading the league, and we're about 3 series away from getting to the conference tournament. And the way that the league fell this year, everybody had 2 bye weeks, and you filled them, again, uniquely enough, with the same team, with the same school, and that is Binghamton. And when you ask about, okay, who is Binghamton, take a look at the facility they have there in Binghamton, New York. And they had a donor that was close to their program, I think donated about $60 million that helped build their facility and a new stadium. And they were, to me, they've been one of the best teams you've played all year.
They really have, and year in, year out, they've always been really competitive. And
They've been in like 5 regionals in the
They
last
have.
7 years, something like that.
That's right. And the way it worked out, the way it came to pass was that because of those buys and where they fell, their conference was in a similar type format, and that's exactly where their buys fell. And so it's hard to find a non-conference weekend as you get into the second half of the year. And one was early, and then, of course, it's getting later now. So it just so happened to work out, and we knew that it was a quality program and an opportunity to play a home-and-home series, and that's how that came to pass.
Yeah, you'll go back up there in a couple of weeks and return that series. Who was the connection? Was it you or Kevin or
as far as finding that they actually, or was there a connection?
Right. I knew their coach for a long time, but not real close with him. But it was a kind of a website that you go to that you put up your open dates, and you kind of look at when you have a strange bye like that in the middle of the year. If you don't play conference each week throughout the year, they're advertising what they're looking for, and so were we, and that's where the connection happened.
Wow, it's amazing that you both had bye weeks on the same 2 weeks. That's kind of crazy. From an overall perspective of a non-conference schedule, what's your philosophy on what you want? What as you move down the road, how do you see that tweaking? What, there's so many good programs locally, and then you all play 2 or 3 others that are from different parts of the country. How do you try to mix and match and put all that together?
Right, and when we're playing a non-conference schedule, and planning it out, it's hard to gauge RPI and that type of thing. You do your schedule 2 years out for the most part. You at least get a good solid core of what you're going to play in the non-conference, and that RPI for that particular team. Baseballs are so much in and out, and you might lose the top 3 pitchers, and so their RPI this year is not anywhere near where it was the year before when those guys really carried the team, or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of fluctuation in our sport in terms of RPI, but you want to play the most competitive schedule you can. We want to play as many at home as we can, especially early in the year, and obviously there's some weather involved with a lot of places, but with those first 3 or 4 weekends at home, it allows us to kind of get in the right rhythm as we get into the 5th and 6th weekends of the season, where we're starting to get into conference play. So we do like to play at home, but there's obviously some home and home series that within the state, and some competitive teams to play. So we'll try to always keep those match up as well. And moving forward, there is a conference schedule for next year that finally came out with no bye in there, so we don't have to worry about
at all.
Yeah, so I think everybody, either if they have a bye, it's at the beginning of the year, and so
Kennesaw will come in, and they've been good.
Right. Yeah.
So they're the new team next year, and so that'll give you 9.
Right.
And so you'll play 8 conference series, or will you play?
It'll make it where we play one more conference series, so we'll play 27
Gotcha.
conference.
Oh, that's right, because you'll go to 10 schools,
right,
and you'll play 9 opponents, so 27 conference games. Well, and also, you have those events that we've played in before at Coastal and other places like that in those first 2 or 3 weekends of the year. And I know, Rice hosts one over at Minute Maid Park, and they do some stuff. Any of those on the horizon that might be good travel opportunities for fans?
We will we'll continue to look at that. The tournament at Coastal is one that had been on the schedule previous, and when I was coaching other places that we had played in before, and it's always a good tournament. They always have some good teams, and Coastal is always good. So and a nice facility, and it's hopefully most of the time you go, the weather is really good. So especially if you go one of the first 2 weeks, and we may do that again. It's not on next year's schedule, but moving forward, we'll probably go back down to Coastal or another tournament like that.
Good deal. Okay, Jared, Western coming in this week. You're a Gallatin guy, so you kind of grew up right in between Murfreesboro and Bowling Green, and so you should have a good idea of what the rivalry's like.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a Blue Raider, so I'm not a fan of a Hilltopper at all. We're definitely looking to play good baseball this weekend, but Coach Myers has made it a point. It doesn't really matter who we're playing. Midweek or series, we're going to go out and play good baseball, and we're going to try to win every game. So I'm not going to treat it any different. Just going to go out and try and play good baseball.
Okay, Briggs, you're in charge of pitchers this week. Give me. We're going to make you pitching coach for a day. Give me your rotation. What are you going to go with this weekend?
That's a tough question, because every guy can get on the mound and do
the
job that we need. But Selzy's my competitor. Dude gets up there and competes, especially in a rivalry weekend. Alderman obviously competes, and then Patrick Johnson's got good stuff and competes on the Sunday. So I trust every single one of our guys to get up there and do a job. Everybody on this team's capable of doing it. You just got to help them believe it sometimes. It's hard when you're on an island out there. I understand it. I used to pitch in high school. It was a long time ago, but now I'm just a catcher, and it's my job to make those guys feel like they're the best pitcher in the conference that weekend. And, you know, we have anybody that can do a job and help us win this weekend.
You're never just a catcher, okay? Exam week, we talked about that. Quick question, what's the future going to be? Where do you want your future to go after college?
I'm gonna keep playing baseball as long as they don't take it away from me. That's my goal. I want to keep playing, but if not, you know, I'm thinking about moving overseas. Honestly, I've thought about living in Europe, in the Middle East, possibly. So.
And what's your major?
I'm entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start a company somewhere, and then hopefully get a chance to expand and do some international stuff, and use my IQ in that realm to grow.
Yep. Jared, what are you going to be doing this summer? Are you playing in a wood bat league anywhere?
No, sir. You know, I talked to Coach and Coach Nichols and Coach Huber, and think, you know, next year I'm going to have a lot bigger role behind the plate, and I'd like to take this summer and go home. You know, change my body a little bit, put on some weight, get faster, get stronger, and come back and ready to bear that load next year. Get ready to go.
Game times this weekend: 6, 3, and 1. 6 o'clock Friday night, 3 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday, and the weather is supposed to be unbelievably good all weekend. Saturday's game at 3 o'clock, it's Military Appreciation Day. Active military and veterans free tickets, and you can get those at the ballpark. First 100 veterans that come will receive a cap that is special. So, and I know you guys have a military salute every week at home, but a little more focused this week with this game coming up.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, they do a great job all the way around. All of our event staff do, and with that being our last weekend to have an opportunity to do that, we're excited about that, in honoring all the veterans as well, and this weekend too, and in general. I think you know, one thing needs to always be said is our fans have been great this year. They've stuck with us. We've had some good crowds. We've had some tough games that didn't get finished off, like we said, even at home, and we want to be you know, entertaining for them, and we want to play hard and represent the right way, and our fans are a big part of that, and we just appreciate it. There were some tough stretches there, like I said, and you know, we need them here down the stretch.
I think you're going to have big crowds this weekend because, again, you guys are. It is Western. It's right in the middle of the conference race. It's going to be great weather. People like to come out, and it is a fun experience out at Reese Smith Junior Field. And again, 6, 3, and 1 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I guess that's going to wrap it up for us right now. We're going to get into softball here in a minute, but look forward to seeing y'all all later tonight over at Tucker Theater.
Yes, sir.
Guys,
thank you, Chet.
thanks so much.
As always.
Thank you.
All right, Briggs Runner, Jared Vitato joining us today on the Spring Sports Show. You all can put your headsets down, and we'll get Coach Breeden and Ansley up here, and we'll get things going, talking about some softball. Again, want to remind you again of the weekend, and it is going to be at Reese Smith Field this weekend, and we talked about it. We'll get with Coach Breeden about it, but military appreciation as well coming up next weekend at Lady Raiders softball, and also these folks will be participating in the Raiders Choice Awards tonight, and Ansley Blevins is to my left, and you're right as you watch on Facebook or YouTube, and Coach Jeff Breeden is to my right, and Breeds, good to see you.
Chip, thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Absolutely. And Ansley, I've seen you more in the last 24 hours getting ready for the show, but that's a good thing. And,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're really involved with your fellow student athletes as part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. But Jeff, kind of give us a State of the Union, kind of where we are, because this has been not the season you wanted. When you come off of a year where you go to a regional and you're within a pitch of going to a super regional, and you have to kind of retool and get things going, but kind of give folks an idea of where you see all of where we are as the head coach.
We're in a good position. This year has not been exactly what we wanted for sure. We haven't been able to put our pitching and our hitting together on the same days. But you know, we're going to regroup and come back next year. We'll have we're going to have 11 new faces next year that are going to come in. So we got a lot of freshmen, and we got an incoming junior college pitcher. Actually, the best junior college pitcher in America is coming to us in this off season. So everybody's going to they'll be impressed by how hard she throws and all that. So as far as an overall, we're in a good situation, and we hope to continue to compete for championships. It was really fun last year, and we want to have national notoriety again, and you know, fly our MT flag all over the country.
That's right. Ansley, one thing that this team has not had a shortage of this year is home runs, and you have been a huge part of that. So far, 43 as a team, and to know that that as a team you guys have broken the single season record, still with a few weeks left to play. What's been the key to this? I know Bryce Brentz is out there helping, and he put together what is arguably one of the best college baseball seasons ever by any player in the United States, and so he brings a lot of experience. Talk about the relationship that Bryce, once he came in, of what it was like to have him on as part of the staff, and how all the ladies have bought in.
Yeah, so Coach Brentz, when he first came in here, I mean, he was really lively. He's excited to, you know, start coaching somewhere, and he didn't ever think he'd be with a bunch of girls. And we kind of just put a plan together. I mean, we work every week, 2 to 3 times, and we all come in by ourselves. We really have just tried to stick to the plan of all the information that he's given us, and all of his knowledge, and, you know, wise knowledge, considering, you know, he was in the major leagues, and obviously he had one of the best seasons here at MT history. I think the most important thing is that we're not trying to go up to the plate to hit home runs. I know everyone's talking about our home run record, breaking it, but in reality we just get up there and we you know, do what we've been working at all week, and we like to have fun in the box. I mean, we adjust accordingly to the pitchers, but like in hindsight, we just get up there wanting to, you know, crush the ball, make good contact.
Well, you know, there was an old commercial on ESPN that chicks dig the long ball. In this case, you all dig hitting the long ball,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. You're a unique student athlete here in that you are a legacy student athlete, and your mom played volleyball for Diane Turnham.
Yes.
Back in the day. She was Angie Raffo, and your uncle played baseball here.
Yes, sir.
And and he was a really good player. Talk about, you know, when it came time for you to go to college. You know, I've noticed that former players' kids, it's one or the other. Either they're excited to do what their mom or dad did, or they don't want to do any of it and want to go somewhere else. There's not a whole lot in between. Kind of talk about your experience, what you were thinking, and how you ended up here.
So my parents and my family have never really had an influence of where I've gone to school. Yeah, of course it was cool that I came here and my mom played here, but when it came down to trying to figure out where I was going to go, it was kind of the COVID year, so we were it was a little bit nerve-wracking trying to figure out where I was going to get to go to school. And I knew that I loved MTSU. I knew a bunch of my friends who had gone to MTSU that are older than me just for school. Like, they love the school, they love the area. I really like Murfreesboro. I've been up here a lot just playing select ball. And when it came down to it, I just obviously I love Coach Breeden, and I love the school, and I love the program and what we stand for. And I decided that I wanted to commit to MTSU, and it was one of the best things that, you know, decisions that I've ever made. I've loved my time here, and I still have, you know, 2 more years after this season. But yeah, my parents have never really had a big influence of where I've gone. They've always supported me. I mean, I didn't even have to play softball.
Are you saying you're independent?
Yeah, well, they've raised me that way. I have a lot of independent people in my family that I look up to, and just my brother and my grandpa and everybody, they all just support me. And coming to MTSU was a decision that I made just for myself, not for anybody else. And it just so happened to be, where my mom and my uncle played.
Yep, and it's working out. And Jeff, when when even last year when I would see Ansley play or think about her playing, I never thought of her as a freshman. She came in beyond her years. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, she's got a high softball IQ and her physical stature and her outgoingness and her being a catcher. I mean, baseball brought 2 catchers up here. I brought you a catcher up here. So, I think about our catchers as being just me playing. And because they got to kind of run things. And Ansley does that, and she does a good job with that. She's definitely a leader, and she's going to next year be the leader. Everybody's going to know she's going to be the one. And she came in as a freshman and thought she could hit high pitches and everything that she could in high school, and she figured out that she couldn't. And then at the end last year, she really got good and really got on a tear. And I kept telling her last year, don't worry, just do what you did when you were at GPS, get in that same mindset and just go swing the bat. And this year she's become a hitter that people fear, and they have to pitch around and they have to do some things that they just don't want to let her get free swings. But we're very glad that she's here, and we used, as I always do, I use some of our older players in the recruiting process. And I used Morgan Harris, who was up to before Ansley was our best catcher that I had coached here, and Morgan talked to her, and Morgan was working here, and
Yes,
so
yes.
and Ansley fits that same mold
Yep.
as with Morgan. So
I asked her about Bryce, but your staff had some changeover this year, but you ended up with 2 people who you were unbelievably familiar with. One sitting right over there, Gretchen Mead, who she is on your staff now as the pitching coach, and Bryce Brents as the hitting coach, and kind of talk about how that came together and how it's all worked out.
well, our softball staff historically over the years has had a lot of transition in it.
And you've had really good
and-
people
and
in
I
that
have,
spot
and-
that have gone on to be
Yeah.
either a head coach or
Or
wherever.
top assistant. Yeah. So Helen last year, as we had our good run, she got all kinds of notoriety and stuff, and was the national assistant coach of the year. And I knew when that happened we tried to keep her. Don't get me wrong. We went back and we made her deal good and all that stuff. But when Ball State called her and said, "Hey, we want you to interview for the head job," I said, "Helen, you got to go do this." Now she had already turned down a bunch of Power 5 assistant stuff, but she went on to be a head coach and is doing a good job. And so as I was looking at what I wanted to do, I know that I want to be here. This is where I've lived for a long time, and this is where I hope I retire. And I tried to find. I thought I wanted to find people that really are MTSU people. So of course I knew Gretchen, and of course Gretchen's the #1 success story in our program. I mean, she came through and didn't do much as a freshman, sophomore, a little bit as a junior, and kept hanging on. And then last year won 20 games.
Yeah.
And so, Gretchen, do you want to be here? Yeah, I want to be here. This is where I want to be. So okay, so we take that piece. I did not know Bryce, but I knew that in Power 5 in the SEC, a lot of people are looking to baseball players to be their hitting instructors. So I sat down in Chris's office one day. I said, "Chris, who's the best hitter in MTSU history?" And he said, "Well, we got somebody, and Bryce Brents." And so I said, "Well, I'm gonna call him and see what he thinks." And so I called him up. I happened to call Bryce up. He was laying sod one day when it was about 110 degrees, and I called him up and I said, "I'd like to talk to you about a job." He said, "Do I have to? Is it going to be 110 degrees and I got to lay sod?" And I said, "No." And so he came over and we started talking. So I got to know him, and he's done a real good job with our kids. So, Bryce wants to be here. He's invested here. Gretchen wants to be here. I want to be here. So, I think our whole staff is just Middle Tennessee now, through and through. And I think it'll be. Hopefully for years to come, we'll be here.
Bryce holds a distinction that he and his wife, Anne Marie, are the only husband and wife that are both Hall of Fame members at MTSU. Now, atmosphere at baseball is a little different from the atmosphere at softball. So did you have to teach Bryce all the cheers?
Oh, for sure. He knows all of them now.
Does he? Does
I
he?
mean, they get stuck in his head. Like, we're in hitting lessons, and he's, doing the cheers that we do.
Does he know the Copperhead Road dance and all of that?
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean, he's watched it so many times, and I'm sure Coach Brentz has had his fair share of line dancing. So, but no, yeah, he's super cool. It was kind of funny to train him into the girl atmosphere. I mean, he said it in his interviews. The only thing he's really had to adapt to is our cheering, which I think is hilarious. But
Well, I mean, if you've not been over there, it is a different, but it is a very high energy.
Oh, yeah,
when
for
you when you
sure.
come, and the changes that have been made to the ballpark, and since probably when you were being recruited to now, and to have what's there. I mean, there's been some major upgrades. I mean, the new video board, the new stand, all that kind of stuff. How fun is that as a player to see that continue to grow?
So, I mean, we have a lot more room for bigger crowds. Like, there's a lot more people that are supporting MTSU softball than in previous, seasons. I love seeing our stadium packed out, even with the other team's fans. Like, it's cool to just be able to play in front of a bunch of people. The video board's funny because, I mean, we always have like a hype video, and so we watch it before every game, and that's cool. And then we just got our dugouts repainted. It's just cool to be able to play in an environment where you wouldn't think, like Coach Breeden always talks about, like he wants to give us the same experience as every other team in the country, and I think that being able to play in a field and environment like that, like, really makes me feel like, we can compete with every other team in the country. It doesn't matter.
And Jeff, that has been an important progression as you've gone along, and you've had, some really loyal folks who have been benefactors and helped make these things happen. And it is kind of amazing when you sit back and think what it looked like, what it was like when you took the job, where it is right now. And this year is the first year that it has been a ticketed event to come to Lady Raider softball, and it is fun to hear when it's announced, oh, well, tonight they're sold out. And so that's kind of a neat deal.
Yeah.
And when you can call a recruiter and say, hey, we were sold out all weekend, against whoever.
Yeah, so, like, especially when the weather's good. I mean, we got great fans, but our last series that we had at home, the weather was good all 3 days. And, man, it was packed. Both sides was packed. Up in the parking structure, there were people standing up in the parking structure watching and all that. And it just makes for a great experience. I mean, we really worked hard on the last 3 years to try to upgrade our fans' experience, and our marketing people have done a great job. We've had great giveaways this year, so if they come in, we got one more. We got a big sunglass. I don't know what kind of sunglasses, but Gretchen knows. She likes them, but they're going to give those away one time. But and so they've done a good job with that. So, and we've had a bunch of younger teams out every time out, but our fans are great, and we're continuing to upgrade. I mean. I think in the next few years you're going to see us, much like our Build Blue campaign is going on over at football stadium and all that. Just last week we got a $250,000 donation to start our field house project at our place. So I think over the
So
next
that's going to give you all new locker rooms, right?
So it would give us new locker rooms. Now our locker rooms are currently underneath the football stadium.
Yeah.
So we would get a field house out there and all that stuff. So, and some upgrades out there. So I think in the next few years you're going to see that, and we're going to be totally self-sufficient out there. I hope at some point in time we have to expand our stadium. I mean, we did pack it out the last 3 games at home, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. I think it is a high-energy sport. When people come, if they'll come just 30 minutes early and watch all the line dancing and watch all the energy and watch the introductions and all that stuff, it's really the product that we put out there is as good as what you see in the SEC. I mean, our video board's awesome, and the people running it are awesome, and so it's just going to be a good fan experience for anybody that comes out to our place.
And anybody that drives by the campus on Rutherford Boulevard, they can see what's on the video board. It's running 24/7 all the time with something up there. Ansley, I think about this last 12 months and what you guys did at Tuscaloosa, then we kind of bookended it with what the women's basketball team did this year down at LSU. But, you know, in my mind, this last 12 months, not only here, because we're very fortunate that Middle Tennessee is a university that has placed a priority on women's athletics for a long, long time. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of Title IX a year ago, but when you think about the national scope of things, like Caitlin Clark, she is the elephant in the room with everything that has gone on, and her success, her visibility, what that meant to the women's basketball tournament, the expansion of viewership to the Women's College World Series, the excitement around that. Is there a better time ever to be a women's student athlete?
No. I mean, I think that especially, you know, the women's athletics teams here, like we're putting MTSU on the map. Obviously, everybody is, but you know, I think that you talked about Caitlin Clark. Like, she's just made women's sports just so much more.
Was it a rising tide lifts all ships?
For sure, because everybody wants to know what's going on with her, going on with everybody else. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who talked about how they never even watched a women's college basketball game until they started hearing about Caitlin Clark. And I think that, you know, women's athletics has just taken off, really.
Yeah. And Jeff, you obviously want to harness that and take advantage of it, and we're seeing some of those things starting to happen.
Yeah, I think whenever the women's basketball thing this year, and with her breaking the record all-time, you know, NCAA scoring record or whatever it was, and I think that when some sponsorship dollars start to drive things, let's say, for example, women's in the WNBA, when their salaries start to increase and start to even take a little bit of a chunk, move up the ladder toward what the NBA does, I think sponsorship dollars are going to increase. I think women's sports over the next decade, I think women's sports and the sponsorship dollars and donor dollars in that I think they're going to skyrocket. I think that women's sports in general has positioned itself with the building of stadiums, with some pro stuff, all that. I think they're just positioning themselves to be a major player in the market for everybody's entertainment dollars that they're spending.
I'm waiting for the Ansley Blevins Nike deal to be like Caitlin Clark's. So,
I mean, I'm not in it for all that. I'm in it because I love the game, and you know, like I love playing at MTSU because, I mean, the reason I came here was because I knew that I was going to get to come here and compete. Like, I was going to get to step out my freshman year and be able to try to earn a position. And a lot of my friends that went to bigger schools or, you know, SEC, Power 5, all that, like, they get there and their coach doesn't even let them step on the field until they're a freshman or until they're a sophomore, junior.
Right.
And I mean, that's how in the recruiting process, a lot of that, I mean, you do get told up front. I mean, I was told that I probably wouldn't get a chance to play until my sophomore year, and I knew I didn't want that. I knew I wanted to go somewhere and play and be competitive and have an opportunity as soon as I got to, you know, my school. And I think that, you know, the deals and everything, you can kind of see how with men and women now, like the NIL deals, can kind of change you as a player. And I think that it's important to try to stay true to yourself, stay true to your sport and your team, because at the end of the day, like, your teammates are the ones around you. Like, Nike's not going to win you a national championship, you know. Like, it's the people around you, your coaches, the fans, everybody that's supporting you.
I'm a big guy on remember where you came from.
Exactly. Yeah, remember where you came from.
And one of the other things that you're very active in, and the softball team in particular, is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. You're on that. Claire Woods is the president of the SAC. Talk about how important it is for you guys to be leaders for all student athletes, and in a time now when there's issues that Jeff and I never even dreamed about that were out there in our days in college.
Yeah, so I mean, the SAC committee for sure, all we do is we meet once every 2 weeks, and we kind of talk about what's going on in our programs, what's going on in NCAA. We just get together and make sure that we're meeting and, you know, sharing what our issues or our problems or just our successes with each other throughout all the teams. So it's kind of you don't ever get every single sport on campus in the same room at the same time. So to be able to have representatives from each sport come in and talk about just certain things that we need, like for example, we have like a wish list. So at the end of every meeting, we say something that we want to have for our program or we want to change about our program. And I suggested us painting our dugouts because the paint was peeling, it was kind of coming off.
And that's happened.
Yeah, and they got them painted. I think it was like a month ago, and they look great. And so just things like that where it gives us an opportunity to be able to speak up about things that we want. Like next on our list, Coach Breeden obviously is talking about our new field house and stuff. So that's really next because honestly, our field is great. Like I love our field. I think it's beautiful. So just certain things like that. But yes, SAC is a good way to be able to also connect from each of the teams to each other and to our administration.
Yeah.
So we have administrative people in there that they hear us out, they talk to us, they write down notes. That we send out an email every week about what was talked about in our SAC meeting to all the coaches and stuff. So I think it's just a really great program and great committee. And it helps us connect with other schools. So right now we're in the process of trying to create a class for athletes, just long story short, just basic things about campus, school, whatever. And we actually were able to reach out to Sam Houston and get their input because they have something that's similar that we want to incorporate here. So it's just a great way to be able to connect our teams individually at MTSU, but also all of our athletic programs all across Conference USA.
Jeff, does it make you proud to have young ladies like that take on these kind of roles?
Yeah, I mean, it sure does. We have good community participation and all, and Ansley's a leader and Claire's a leader too, and Claire's been to the national SACs conferences and all that stuff, and always comes back and talks about what she's got going on there. So it makes me proud of them.
Yep. As we head down the stretch, a couple of notes. We talked about how this team has hit home runs. Shelby Eccles this year leads Conference USA in hits with 55. She also moved into the top 10 in career stolen bases with 40. Cameron Karsich has been an innings eater with 155 innings this year. That is 9th most in all of Division I, and she is tied for the most wins in Conference USA with 13, and she ranks second all-time in the program with saves with 7. So as we head down the stretch, what do you want to see this team do and what you've got remaining in the regular season to get yourself in position for the conference tournament?
We just got to be consistent. We need to play three games we've got good pitching, we've got timely hitting, and we play great defense. And those are the three keys that we talk about all the time. We always are going to bring more energy than our opponent because that's just what we do, and that's what people are going to see. But just consistency across the board in those three things, and then we'll see what happens. And we want the seniors. We got one series at home left, and I want those seniors to go out. Maybe their season has not been as good as they wanted, but they're going to remember that last series at home. So I want them to go out on a real positive note, big crowds, and then them themselves excelling to help us win games.
As we mentioned, Jeff mentioned they've got one series left. It's not this weekend, but next. And on Saturday, May 3rd, that will be Military and Veteran Appreciation Day, and all of the things that are going to happen at baseball this Saturday will happen the following Saturday over at, I like to call it Observatory Park, with the old observatory over there at Blue Raider Field. And Ansley, tonight, Raiders' Choice Awards, got any predictions on any big winners tonight?
I don't know. I feel like all of our athletes have a really good chance. I mean, our athletics is just stellar. It's so cool to be able to watch. Just with the softball team alone, I know that all of us are pretty close with just different members of every team. So it's just exciting to get out there and maybe see something that we might have missed previously.
Right.
And RCA's like, you get to see all the coolest plays or like the coolest games that somebody's won, or just breakout performances. And I think that everybody has a really good opportunity and a good chance.
And which award are you presenting tonight?
I am presenting the RCA Male Breakout Performer of the Year.
Okay,
award.
So be watching for Ansley tonight.
I'm the first one.
Yep. No, you're actually second. They flipped it.
Oh, well,
so you're
they-
going to be the second
they
award
changed it
tonight.
on me, I guess.
So we need power at the top of the lineup. So that's why you're there. So guys, thanks so much for coming today, and look forward to seeing you all tonight.
Well, thanks for having us.
Jeff, thanks so much.
Thanks, Chip. Enjoyed it.
Appreciate it very much. Nathan Wallach has been our producer, and again, if you have missed any part of this, it will be up on the Blue Raider Athletics YouTube channel and also saved on Facebook. We'll be back here again next Thursday at noon for another edition of the Spring Sports Show. Until then, we'll see you tonight.